And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
Since we applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad.
They're both sweating now. Justice is coming.
I'm sure Barack took it like a champ. Wink, wink.
Diddy had Obama in the palm of his hand.
You know Obama loves Diddy oil.
How many Diddy parties did Obama attend?
So we all know Obama and Diddy have a history. But with this newly leaked footage spreading across X, it goes even deeper than anyone expected. At first glance, it looks like just another celebrity party. Flashy lights, expensive champagne, and a guest list full of industry regulars. But when viewers started taking a closer look, one detail stood out that no one could ignore. This wasn't just any party. It was an Obama-themed celebration, and it was held at Diddy's mansion.
Everybody in here has been a difference. But I want y'all right now to realize where we at. It's a new day. I want to take y'all we are turning into a black celebration.
The decorations, the setup, even the way people were dressed. Everything pointed toward a bizarre and almost obsessive tribute to Barack Obama. Some called it satire, others called it surreal, but a growing number of people are calling it disturbing. The footage itself is grainy, obviously recorded on a phone, but it shows enough to stir controversy. There's a massive poster of Obama near the entrance, too. Diddy is currently facing a whirlwind of lawsuits, shocking allegations, and criminal investigations, and somehow Obama's name keeps popping up in the strangest ways. And that's not even the weirdest part, because buried in the online discourse surrounding the video is an old but recently resurfaced story that makes this footage even more bizarre, and frankly, a little disturbing. Back in 2011, during a music festival, there were rumors that Diddy had been handing out ecstasy pills shaped like Obama's head. Yes, really, Obama-shaped pills.
Combs allegedly carried pills with Barack Obama's face on them. His former assistant, David James, shared that he often carried around 25 to 30 undisclosed pill bottles, including a set of pills that had the 44th president's face on them.
At the time, it sounded like a ridiculous tabloid headline, something you'd see in the back of a supermarket magazine. But now, with this themed party footage hitting the internet, people are starting to connect the dots in a whole new way. What seemed like a bizarre publicity stunt over a decade ago now feels more like a pattern of behavior. But it doesn't stop there. The deeper you dig into Diddy's situation, the more the Obama references start to feel intentional, or at least way too frequent to be dismissed. Just recently, during a court testimony related to Diddy's case, Diddy's old assistant named David James name-dropped Obama while describing the environment and influence Diddy held over his associates.
Did you ever pick up drugs from Mr. Combs?
Yes, Percocets at a pharmacy, sometimes in my name.
Did you give him permission to use your name?
I don't recall that.
Was there a dealer?
Yes, one stop.
He met with a lot of people?
Yes, even former presidents.
Which one?
Former President Obama.
What was your understanding would have happened if you hadn't done these things?
Objection!
Sustained.
David James is a lesser-known but important figure in the current investigation. He's been giving testimony that allegedly details some of the more extreme elements of Diddy's inner circle. And while his mention of Obama was brief, it wasn't subtle, implying that the former president had either visited or had knowledge of Diddy's lifestyle, parties, or inner operations. Now, there's no direct evidence to back that up. No photo, no video, no confirmed interaction at any of these parties. But the mere mention of Obama's name in such a high-profile trial caught everyone's attention. David James himself said he witnessed Diddy carry the Obama pills for his freak-offs. What's fascinating, or unsettling depending on how you look at it, is how these three completely separate moments, the Obama-themed party, the Obama-shaped pills, and the Obama name drop during testimony, all start to form a thread. A weird, murky, uncomfortable thread that ties Obama's image to Diddy's increasingly chaotic and controversial world. And it raises questions. Why is Diddy so fixated on Obama? Is it symbolic? Is it political? Is it a marketing stunt gone too far? Or something more layered? That's where things get messy. Because on one hand, you could argue that Obama is one of the most iconic and recognizable Black public figures of the 21st century. So naturally, he might show up and pop culture tributes. But on the other hand, Diddy isn't just using Obama's image in random tweets or lyrics. He's physically incorporating Obama into the most private, most questionable parts of his lifestyle: parties, substances, and whispered testimonies, using Obama head-shaped pills for his freak-offs. And that's a lot harder to explain away. Online reactions have been mixed but intense. Some people find the footage hilarious and over the top, treating it like another bizarre chapter in the ongoing saga of celebrity insanity. Others are more skeptical, pointing out that Diddy's obsession with power, legacy, and image has always been extreme, and that using Obama's likeness in this way feels like more than just satire. Some have even accused him of trying to cloak his darker behaviors in the imagery of someone as respected and admired as Obama, as if that association somehow cleans up his image or gives him a kind of symbolic immunity. But that's exactly why people are so uncomfortable. Because if these leaked visuals are what he's willing to show, what does that say about what's still hidden? There's something strange about the way Hollywood reacts to truth, especially when it slips out in public. Take Ricky Gervais at the 2020 Golden Globes.
Talking of all you perps, it was a big year for file movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you?
That wasn't just a comedy monologue. That was a full-blown surgical strike on the industry's darkest secrets. On live television, in front of the biggest stars on Earth, Gervais stood there and said, "You all spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg," before calling out Epstein and adding, "I know he was your friend, but I don't care." And just like that, the room went cold, dead quiet. Not because he was wrong, but because he wasn't supposed to say it out loud. That moment wasn't a joke. It was a rupture. A rare glimpse at how thin the facade really is in Hollywood. Everyone smiles, everyone claps, but underneath the makeup and the champagne is a system built on silence, secrets, and a mutual agreement not to talk about certain things. And this is where it all starts to connect. Because what Diddy's going through right now, the accusations, the leaked footage, the strange obsession with powerful figures like Obama, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's part of a larger pattern, a pattern where people at the top play by completely different rules, and where the deeper you dig, the more you start to realize that almost nothing in this industry is what it seems. Think about it. Gervais didn't say, "Some of you knew Epstein." He said, "He was your friend." That line hit different because it was true. Epstein wasn't some fringe figure lurking in the shadows. He was in the photos, at the dinners, on the planes. The entertainment industry, the political world, the financial elite, they're all more connected than they'd ever admit. And that's why the Diddy story feels so important, even if some people are trying to brush it off as just another celebrity meltdown. Because it's not just about Diddy, it's about how insulated people like him become once they reach a certain level. It's about the parties that are never photographed, the guests who never sign NDAs, the money that never shows up on paper. It's about the quiet normalization of excess, violence, and power plays behind closed doors. That's what makes the Obama references so unsettling. Not because Obama is directly involved, but because his image is being dragged into this chaos, as if it's just another piece of the set dressing, another symbol to be worn, consumed, or weaponized. That's the difference between admiration and appropriation, and in Diddy's world, that line is long gone. But Hollywood has always flirted with that line. Just look at how many people openly joked about Weinstein before the truth finally came out. Watch old interviews, old award shows, old comedy bits. There were always hints. People knew. They just didn't say anything because it wasn't safe, or because they were complicit, or because they thought the system would protect them forever. And maybe that's what Diddy thought too, that he had enough money, enough power, enough access to make any story disappear. But the internet changed. Now footage leaks, testimonies go viral, witnesses speak out, and no amount of celebrity branding, not even wrapping yourself in the image of a former president, can stop the truth from bleeding through the cracks. What makes it more disturbing is that so many of these stories follow the same script: wealth, fame, untouchability, then rumors, then leaks, then the desperate attempts to control the narrative. We saw it with Cosby. We saw it with R. Kelly. We're watching it play out with Diddy in real time. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, there are always people, enablers, fixers, handlers, whose job is to keep the machine running, to silence the ones who speak, to distract the public, to frame it all as entertainment. And it works, until it doesn't. Until someone like Gervais breaks the fourth wall, or a victim refuses to stay quiet, or a clip leaks that wasn't supposed to exist. So when we see Diddy throwing Obama-themed parties, or allegedly carrying Obama-head ecstasy pills, or having his name casually mentioned in a federal trial next to the former president, it's not just weird, it's part of a larger culture that turns real people into props, icons into branding tools, and morality into a punchline. Obama never asked to be part of Diddy's narrative, just like Greta Thunberg didn't ask to be name-dropped by Hollywood's elite, or Epstein's victims didn't ask to be ignored for years while the cameras kept rolling. But that's the thing about power. It doesn't need permission. It just takes what it wants and dares anyone to question it. And maybe that's what makes all of this so fascinating. Because for once, we're not watching a scripted movie. We're watching the script break down. The names being dropped now aren't fictional. The consequences aren't part of a storyline. They're real. And they're unfolding publicly. And people are finally paying attention, not just to the crimes, but to the patterns, the symbols, the way the industry uses familiarity to distract from rot. Diddy wearing Obama like armor isn't just uncomfortable, it's revealing. It shows us what he values, what he believes gives him protection, what he thinks the public will forgive, as long as it's wrapped in the right imagery. And that brings us full circle. Because the question isn't really, what does Diddy have to do with Obama? It's, why does Diddy need Obama? Why, in the middle of lawsuits, leaked videos, and mounting pressure, does he still try to align himself with the most respected Black political figure of a generation? It's not about friendship. It's about survival. It's about using the public's emotional connection to Obama as a buffer, as a branding tool, as a smoke bomb to hide behind. Or perhaps Obama is more close to Obama than we know. Who knows? But between the jokes at the Golden Globes and the leaks on social media, the industry's mask is slipping. People are starting to see what's really behind the curtain, not just with Diddy, but with the entire culture that enabled him. And as more footage surfaces, more testimonies emerge, and more high-profile names get dragged into the spotlight, it's getting harder and harder for anyone to pretend this is just another headline. It's not. It's a pattern. It's a reckoning. And it's only just beginning.